It's the Dubplate Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
Good morning, my friends. We're back inside the building once again. Welcome back to Breakfast with Kovu here on Trickstar Radio. It's great to be back inside the building as we continue the interview hour series, looking at different conversations with different artists from around the UK and beyond, looking into their backgrounds, what they've got going on, and of course their future plans. This morning we've got a fantastic one on the way, a conversation I've been looking forward to for a hot minute. We are joined by the wonderful DJ Oppidan. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm good.
It's great to have you. It's great to have you back on the show. Obviously, it seems like things are very, very busy at your end, and obviously you were on the show about a year ago. Do you want to kind of give me a bit of a kind of overall update of what's kind of been happening for you since then? Because it seems like you've been non-stop.
So obviously gigs came back, which is amazing. The first week back, I think I had like 5 or 6 gigs in Bristol, which was really cool. Been releasing stuff, been gigging obviously as stuff's come back, and also just like started my own little imprint. Yeah, that's really it, to be honest.
I mean, this is what's so exciting. I feel you're almost underselling it a little bit, because every single sort of month or so, it seems like there's either a new release or a big new show announced for yourself. Like, obviously, the main sort of difference here is obviously that raves are open again. Now, I feel to an extent you gained a lot of popularity whilst everything was kind of in lockdown. So how has that transition kind of been for yourself? Obviously, going and suddenly having all these shows to play, following from all the work you were putting in with releases.
It's pretty mental, to be honest, because I only did one show before lockdown, and I hadn't released anything really. So for me, it's just been like a weird, massive transformation. It's been awesome, but yeah, it's weird. The transition was definitely weird. I found it quite difficult to at first to like, I think because I did all the sit down stuff, it made it a lot easier to get people to dance actually in a real show kind of situation, because it's a lot harder to get people to feel happy at a sit down.
Yeah, of course.
Rave. So I feel like that was really good, like almost like work experience for the actual thing.
Yeah, that makes sense a lot. I mean, there's always that sort of concept floating around when people are kind of first gigging, I suppose, that it's better to play to a difficult crowd first, because that trains you for the long run, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And because I did a lot of stuff in Bristol as well, and Bristol was very much drum and bass orientated, it just means that I felt like I always had to, every tune had to be like perfect or like sick or have energy injected into it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, though. That does make sense. And I think, obviously, alongside that as well, even though the shows have come back, you've literally not slowed down at all when it comes to releases. Obviously, a couple of night-based bits, some really exciting bits here in the UK as well. Do you know kind of roughly how many tunes you've put out since we last spoke? Because it's been a year, and it seems like it's every month there's something new.
To be honest, I actually think, I can't remember if I spoke to you before or after the Steppers release. I think it was before.
Yeah, I think it was just before.
I think I had like a big string of releases last year from like September to December, and then I had a big break where I just like made stuff for this year. I had 3 releases like over Christmas. I had like one on the 23rd, one on the 24th, and one on the 25th as well. Actually, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
quite a lot.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. It seems like it. And I think obviously with that, we're seeing a real kind of development in the direction you're taking sound-wise, kind of floating, not necessarily entirely around UKG. That's definitely the sort of central point, it would seem, from an outside perspective. But you're dipping into different areas as well. Talk to me about the working with night bass as well, because this is such a cool thing to be able to see.
AC Slater was just like, we really want to start pushing some more UK stuff over the pond, and I was lucky enough to be one of the people that he chose to get to work with him, and it happened pretty quickly actually. Like initially I had the tune out on one of the compilations, and that was like pretty instant. But then I think the actual EP itself, I kind of sat with trying to make it sound good for like 3 months or so. I just worked on it because I just wanted wanted it to be perfect, like a perfect kind of replication of like what I've been through in the last 6 months, and also just like where I think the sound is heading and where I'm heading. So yeah, it's a big kind of like footnote, if you will, like for me.
I'd agree. No, I'd 100% agree, and I definitely feel with that that project, it definitely felt like that was you kind of pushing the boat out a little bit style-wise as well. It felt like you were trying different things that we hadn't necessarily heard before. How was the response to the EP from your end?
It was great. It was really good. I think also as a result, like 50% of my audience or something now is the US. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, which is nuts. But yeah, it was really good. Loads of people really liked it. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, it's great to see. And again, as I keep saying, I love seeing progression. I love seeing artists do that sort of progression path. And one of the big steps you've kind of taken following on from that is, of course, starting up your own imprint alongside that, which is self-titled. But talk to me about the sort of inspiration behind doing it, because obviously you've got releases floating around. You've got a lot of shows. Why then take the step to kind of then add your own imprint to proceedings?
I feel like I need a spot where I can put out absolutely anything I want. Delfino Square is quite a good starting point. Delfino Square is quite a good starting point because I think it's a very good encapsulation of where I'm at with garage. But I'm hoping to start releasing some other genres on it as well. But yeah, inspiration-wise, I think it's just like, I think it's really worth just having your own little spot to put things out, and helps with my brand image as well.
100%.
Having like a clear thing of this is Oppidan stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really does. I mean, obviously, kind of with that brand stuff, before we jump into this tune, because we're going to jump into Delfino Square in just a second. Absolutely love this one. But before we do that, like obviously with the sort of branding side of things, like how have you found that, I suppose from a sort of development front with the sort of shows coming up? Have you found yourself thinking more and more about that side of things, or has it just been quite a natural process for you?
I had like a moment where I was like, look, like I actually don't really know what kind of image I actually want to, or don't, because artistically I'm quite interested in that kind of thing as well. And I was like, I don't really know now it's been so long, and I was trying to think of like a logo and think of like the kind of artwork I'd want for it and that kind of thing. I was like, I've absolutely no idea now, because it's been so long of me making stuff. I needed someone external to do it. Everything else I'd done myself. And yeah, so it was quite a good thing for me to do, I think.
Definitely. No, it's really cool to see, and obviously the instant impact of this tune has been great. We are going to jump into this one now. It goes by the name Delfino Square. As always, we are live on the line this morning for the interview hour between 9 and 9:30. Oppidan joins us this morning. It's just gone 13 minutes past 9. This is a very enjoyable one. So keep it locked and don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.